This is Umar for BoxNation. Pleasure joining Viddal Riley this afternoon after a fantastic win for you, really, on the weekend, considering Mikael Lawal, a while back was considered like a real threat at world level, Viddal. So how do you assess that win?
I'm very happy with the win. I'm very happy with the win. I expected to get the win. I know my skill level and I know how versatile I am. So I knew that my IQ and my smarts would be too much for Mikel. I knew I wasn't more powerful than him. I mean, he showed me that real early in the fight, by fracturing my rib with a right hand to the body. And I knew that it was time to activate another strategy. I did plan to fight Mikel differently. Um, but yeah, it's a game of skill. It's a game of smarts, and I showed that I'm smart enough, I'm fit enough, and I'm skillful enough to pick off a high level opponent for 10 rounds.
Yeah.
So I am happy.
Can't really blame you for ignoring that guy who tried to spud you, the admin, when you went into your change room. You had a broken rib, so
Yeah, you could see I was walking kind of awkward as well. I don't even normally walk like that. I was walking a bit uptight and everything, but it's because I was trying to breathe. Like I couldn't take any deep breaths, so I'm really like taking shallow breaths. I'm acknowledging the people's faces I'm used to seeing, and I didn't even see the admin guy there. Like I looked at him, I must have looked at him and thought, okay, I don't know what's going on, but let me keep it moving. Um, but yeah, I mean, 1.2 million views though on a reel, so it's good.
job done, eh?
Job
um,
done, job done.
were you surprised at how comfortable it was in there for you or not?
Yeah, at times I was expecting him to bring more heat because he was obviously behind and losing every round. So I thought there would be a point where he tries to let his hands go a bit more. But I also could see that all the punches that I was countering with were hurting. They were affecting him. So it kept him honest. And you know, it takes a lot of skill to do what I done and to read the situation and be able to read the opponent. But the moment I landed a few punches as he was coming in and I realized, okay, he can feel these, it deterred him from wanting to open up more alongside the footwork. So it was a real strategy game and real test of concentration because the way Mikel hits, I wouldn't recommend anyone just to start picking on him now just because he's lost a couple in a row to two good fighters. He's a very dangerous fighter. And I got more respect for his punch power and and his makeup after being in the ring with him. He's a very dangerous opponent, and I'm glad I've overcome that test.
To anyone within boxing, if they say, Viddal Riley's going to have a really comfortable night against Mikael Lawal and win a pretty straightforward decision win and win near enough every round in there and every moment in each round, you look at that and go, that's a serious win for Viddal. Casual fans and your other fans and people who aren't really in boxing have obviously had their say, so that was a really poor fight to watch, a boring fight. How would you respond to that, Viddal?
I mean, I won't disagree with him. I'm very honest. I'm very honest. I know it wasn't a fight to go back and circle to the highlights and say, yeah, this was exciting and devastating. But not every fight is gonna be won that way, and boxing it's it's a strategy game. Like, to do what I've done requires a level of skill that not many people have, especially at my size. You've seen legends do it many a times. You've seen Sugar Ray Leonard box Marvin Hagler in a certain way. We've seen Tank have to box Isaac Cruz in a certain way when being injured. We've seen Devin have to stick behind a jab and box a boring fight against Cambosos to become the youngest undisputed champion in the four belt era. You've seen Usyk have to dance around Chisora because he realized this guy's strong and I'm just gonna have to activate my pedigree. And with a good amateur background that's always blown under the carpet because of YouTube, I feel like people got a chance to see why I won the national title 8 times, why I was a youth Olympian. It was an insight into how those titles were won, how I defeated Chris Billam Smith in the amateurs. I have the ability to box in a way not many people my size can. And it's not always the most exciting thing, but it's not the last fight of my career. Boxing is very fickle, and two knockouts down the line, this won't be remembered. But what will be in the history books was a shutout win against a former British champion at the O2 Arena on Easter Sunday.
Well, what was very exciting for people watching on Sky and inside the arena at the O2 was obviously when Isaac Chamberlain came to a post-fight interview. Were you
Yeah.
surprised at how riled up he was? He seemed very fiery and emotional.
At the time, I'm just sitting down on the edge of the ring in mad pain, and I think Andy Scott said to me, "Oh, we're gonna bring in Isaac," and I'm thinking, of course, man. I'm still working. When the fight's done, I'm still working. But the post-fight interview to me is still work. It's still part of the day. So I thought we're not gonna say no. Like, let's continue to sell what we're pushing. Um, but yeah, I had to just tell him to calm down because he was quivering his bottom lip and crying in York after beating the same opponent that I did. At least let it be in the O2, a bit of a better venue to start crying. You're crying in the venue I used to go swimming with my mom, like when I was a kid. It's a better leisure center. Like, chill out, man. But that's why I don't feel he's not eligible to get onto me. He's not eligible to get onto me. But the fact that he does, and the fact that the people connect with it, and the fact that it causes more storyline again to create a big fight, I'm not mad at it. But on a real level, he should chill out. He should chill out because he's quite behind in comparison to his peers, and he's let a next generation come through and become his rival, which is just the facts of the matter.
Well, to be fair, he hasn't stopped. He went on Sky Sports with Andy Scott, and just going to play this.
Don't run. If you're really about this, let's get in cracking next. Let's get it cracking next. Don't be on no shook thing. Don't talk about, oh, I got to do this. I see you try to say that you had a rib fracture. No, you don't. Because when you was bending over after that post-fight interview, you was like this. Like, if your rib was really fractured, you wouldn't be able to even go like that, bro. So it's probably bruised. Stop the cap. What, you went to a doctor straight after the fight? Stop the cap, bro. You're already trying to find a way out, bro. You're cornered now. What? You should have called me out in October because I'm here now.
You want to fight?
Obviously, that's...
What do you want to do?
Thoughts?
The thoughts are, he's just making noise, man. He's literally just making a bag of noise. That is what he's doing. That is all he's doing. But I respect it because he's hyping it. He's hyping the fight. He's hyping the fight, and it is a big fight. It is the fight that we want next. I've already had a conversation with Ben Shalom about how that fight can be made next. He's completely dismissing the fact that he has responsibilities. We know who the mandatory is, Chev. We know that it's been ordered by the board. So if he wishes to fight next, he's going to have to let go of one of those belts that he shedded many tears over. And I mean, if you're willing to do that, then it goes to show maybe I'm the A side, I'm starting to think maybe I am the A side. I might not have the bigger belts, but I think I'm the A side because this guy is willing to give up belts to fight me. I mean, I must be the A side.
Lastly, before I let you go, you mentioned Chev Clark there. What on earth happened with Chev?
Chev asked on a few occasions, attempts, can I come through into the interview? He was told no. So he took it upon himself to say, right, I'm coming over the barrier to get myself involved. I mean, I think it would have been a great interview to have all three of us talking. So me and my dad are like, bring him through, bring Chev through. Do you know what I mean? Because we understand that he is the person who's officially next in line. The me and Isaac fight is bigger for sure. But there's nothing no one here can go around the board. Everyone can talk as much as they want and go on what network they want, but you can't go around the board. We all know that's who controls what's happening next. So I'm like, bring him through. And then I think Isaac's boys tried to stop Chev from getting into the interview. And then that's where you see the ruckus. I was sitting down the whole time. I wasn't involved, man. I was keeping my hands clean. I already done 10 rounds of fighting with a broken rib. I wasn't trying to get in any more ruckus. So yeah, it was nothing serious. It was nothing serious like that. It was just Isaac and his boys' egos getting a bit ahead of themselves. That's all.
Listen, Viddal Riley, congratulations on a very good win, as I said, solid win over Mikael Lawal on what was a historic night, actually, turned out at the O2, and look forward to this fight with Isaac Chamberlain. It will certainly sell, and hopefully it delivers in the ring. So I appreciate your time, and we'll speak soon, Viddal. Thank you.
Thank you, bro.